up? Welcome back to another episode of Visual Effects Artists React. We are looking at some really interesting stuff today. Some examples of clips that kind of stumped us.
I can't find any flaws.
Yeah. No, like legitimately zero flaws. Somehow we've never looked at Sin City. It's an iconic movie. I think we should break it down.
Ultraman. There's Mega Man. He's a boy. Ultraman, actually a man.
Oh, shanked him! And somehow, we never looked at the Honda del Sol commercial from 1991.
Somehow.
Which features some of the most clever effects you'll see.
I think I know what's going on in this shot.
This is a car commercial from the 90s that, well, let's see if you know how it's done.
This has been sent to me a whole lot over the last week. Like multiple different people have been sending this to me a lot.
And now it got posted to our subreddit, so at this point we can't ignore it anymore.
Oh!
It's one of those that is like,
Wow.
deceptively complicated. What's getting me is her shadow on the ground there, and it's covering over the top of the car, but then by the end of the shot, she's now inside of it.
That transition is nuts.
Yeah.
Like, it looks so flat, and then suddenly there's people in a car. I saw something.
What'd you see?
I think I know what's going on in this shot. I think it's really simple. It's the reason it's blowing our minds is because it's flawless execution.
Yeah, it really is.
Like, there's nothing complicated going on here. There's a flat picture of a towel and a car and some actors, and then there's also a real car and some actors, and that's it. And the transition between the two just happens to be flawlessly timed and perfectly executed.
Essentially, they did this all in like a blue towel, probably. This is the 90s, so it was probably blue. They're both on the towel going through their motions. It's very precisely choreographed. They do the second shot where they actually get into the car. And I think in the second take, there is a real car. Because at first I was like, oh, they just took the car and then they just animated it off screen. But no, you can clearly see there is some parallax, especially if you look at that strip of red above the windshield there. It does reveal their legs a little bit as it drives away. So you can tell it's actually driving off frame. And you can get that overhead shot of the real car to use as a still frame, which you would then project onto the towel at the beginning. That way it matches perfectly. You take that final shot and you make it look like it's a towel, which is basically like you lift the black values, kind of make it faded, you know?
And I think they've had the camera at least like 50 feet above the car. Feels like around somewhere at least like a 75 millimeter focal length or something like that, or maybe 50. Flatten out the car. It looks natural when it's that flat.
And they're cutting them out and lining them up with where they are on the real car, so that when she turns around, they get it mostly matched up and then maybe do a bit of a morph as she turns around. Meanwhile, the guy who had gotten off of the towel, you see his shadow, you go around to the side, they transition away from him to the second take of him as he opens the trunk. Meanwhile, we're still seeing the flattened image of the car projected onto the towel, and then he closes the trunk. We're now seeing the real trunk, and the real car is just slowly crossfading in.
Dude, I love how they have the kids with the ball happen at the same time the trunk's happening to like totally like...
That's the red herring. That's the thing that throws you off.
Such a good touch.
And also look at how gently they bring in the shadow from the car itself. Because obviously based on the direction of the sun, it's gonna create a pretty long shadow on its right side. Dude, it's so well done. And that's the trick for blending things nicely, is blending in certain parts at certain times, not just trying to brute force the whole thing in over time.
I can't find any flaws.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like legitimately zero flaws.
Yeah, like in context on paper, I'm like, yeah, I feel like I know how they did this, but I can't prove it. What does the description say? It doesn't say anything about it, does it?
Hey, Corridor.
Explain this. Well, we tried. Yeah.
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 I am.
A VFX.
A VFX.
VFX.
I'm a VFX artist.
A VFX artist.
React viewer. React viewer. React viewer. React viewer.
Are you? Somehow we've never looked at this crazy movie that came out 20 years ago called Sin City.
Well, they used a green screen for this movie. That's why it's famous.
This is a Robert Rodriguez movie. There's actually an incredible 15-minute featurette about this movie that Robert Rodriguez made that's actually really worth watching. We'll link it in the description. Sin City is a series of graphic novels written by Frank Miller, and this was considered unfilmable. It's a black and white series, very heavy with the silhouettes and style. It's just dripping in style. All the blood is just white. You got all these different things. Every now and then you get splashes of color. How do you make a movie out of that? They actually used the original like Sin City comics as the storyboards for the movie.
That's awesome.
Robert Rodriguez didn't want to basically adapt the movie. He wanted to translate the movie. He wanted to make specifically what was on page into film. And so to do that, he actually co-directed the movie with Frank Miller. He had to sacrifice his Directors Guild membership in order to do this.
So they wouldn't let him co-direct with someone who wasn't in the
A
DGA.
non-guild member.
And so at the time when this was made, around like 2003, 2004, it was one of the first movies shot entirely on a digital camera and mostly on a green screen background. Only a few other movies at the time had really kind of done this. Robert Rodriguez, he's coming from Spy Kids fame, where he shot a lot of this stuff on a green screen, so he now has that sort of green screen studio experience. Yeah. With color movies, their color is what helps separate them from the background, but when you lose that color, he needed to edge light all of the actors to get their silhouettes to stand out when on a black background. Really heavily edge lighting them. You can put the lights wherever you want. But there's tactical use of color throughout the movie. Frank Miller was like, oh, so you're wanting to weaponize color here. You're kind of like tactically choosing when to show color, when to make the dress red, when to make the car red, when to make the blood either white, yellow, or red.
Let's go.
So it's like in the comic, this guy is covered in bandages, and because of the very unique style, it's like he's completely black as a silhouette, but the bandages just stand out as white. How do you achieve something like that for real?
Oh, you would need some sort of reflective tape. Yeah.
Is it reflective, or is it fluorescent?
Fluorescent tape.
Basically, they got this fluorescent tape, and same thing for the paint there on the ground. That's not actual blood, it's not even really paint, it's fluorescent paint. I mean, I guess technically that's paint, but because they needed those bandages to show up in the shadows. They needed this stuff to show up in ways that you would have to not be able to light it. And so by having like a little bit of a black light on it, they glow. And not very much. It's not actually attributing any more light to the rest of the shot. And the bandages themselves aren't emitting light. It's not like a retroreflective thing happening. It's glowing just enough for them to take a matte out of it. So they cut out the green screen, and now they have the matte of the two actors here, and now they'll do an additional matte where they're basically color keying out the red of the tape, or the red of the paint, or the red of Elijah Wood's sunglasses. And they're able to basically isolate that stuff, add that as a separate pass to make it much more punchy. They did the same thing with the makeup on Bruce Willis's scar on his forehead. They were specifically using fluorescent makeups that would react to that black light to pop out more. Yeah.
Excuse me, miss.
There was actually huge amounts of schedule conflicts, and a lot of these actors that share scenes together never actually filmed together. They shot Brittany Murphy's scenes in a single day. They used him as an eye line, essentially. Robert Rodriguez also edited this movie, so he was able to keep track of everyone's sort of schedule, and like he was shooting with Clive Owen on a day, shooting with Jessica Alba on a separate day, shooting with all these different actors on different days, and he was able to keep track of it all because he knew what the movie had to be.
So much to keep track of, that's so much to juggle.
I'm speeding.
The last thing I thought that was really interesting about this featurette was how they filmed the red car, because they have this sweeping shot that starts behind the car and then it goes around to the front of the car. And to get a shot like that on a green screen, you have to have a full 360 green screen. So how would you actually shoot the car?
It's a car. It's sitting still. They got a crane. They move it.
Set up another green screen and just wheel it in.
You guys really don't know this one. I thought you would get this one right away.
Because they didn't have a big enough green screen?
Yeah.
They didn't have a big enough. Okay, let's watch it again.
So assuming that a little green screen, how would you do it? Okay. Maybe it's a motion control situation where you film half of the shot one way and half of the shot the other way?
Did they just roto it? Did they just brute force it? No.
Oh, they moved
the car.
Oh, yeah,
They
that's
just
fun.
rotate the car. Whoa.
That's kind of fun.
That is
right?
fun.
I thought that was a
really
fun shot.
That is really, really fun. I'm thinking you need to solve for the motion of the camera. So I wouldn't think that moving the object would be the solution, because then you got to account for that in the solving of the camera, which would be annoying.
Except the world is based around the motion of the car. So you just track the car.
Yeah, you're right.
You're so right. You would just track the car.
Because you're assuming the car is just going straight down the road and the world is moving around the car.
Oh yeah, you're totally right.
I thought that was a real fun fact of a shot.
That is. That's cool though, really cool.
So this I thought was a pretty fun effect here. This is the sort of effect that we would do. Did you notice anything about her getting hit in the face with the blood?
Yeah, it feels like they're manipulating it.
She doesn't blink. Apparently, we've never really seen that in any samurai movie before. Anytime they get hit in the face, because it's a natural human instinct to blink and flinch when your face gets hit with something. If you wanted to get this shot, how would you film this?
To me, it looked like there was a jump cut of some kind going on, and it felt like it could just be a later portion. Like she flinched and then she rebalanced herself, and they just cut out the flinch part.
So they filmed the first plate with her just standing there, looking stoic, right? Eyes open. And then they've had her close her eyes, and then they blasted her. So it was just one shot with two actions, essentially, and they take both those actions and overlay them.
And they take the blood, yeah. Because she does have like a little twitch in her right eye, which is interesting.
This was supposed to be the beginning of a really cool creative wave of filmmaking, and it kind of just turned into a crutch for filmmakers to decide big decisions later. It's like, this is an example of a studio green screen set being used with intent.
Maybe we've looked at Ultraman, I don't even know, but the point is that someone recommended on our subreddit to take a look at the newest series, and it's crazy.
Whoa! So that scaling, everything scales with the same scaling, except for him at the back. He has proper parallax.
There's a little behind the scenes that they released for the sequence too, which is fun to watch.
Did they cut it? Look, yeah.
Oh, it is, okay. That makes sense
That
then.
was the fist was a transition there, did you see that?
So the opening shot with the camera pulling out was practical.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
then before the camera pushes back in, that becomes a whole digital shot, which is why the scaling doesn't work on the way back in, but it does on the way out.
So there's a lot to take in. This is a 3-minute sequence I want to watch.
Whoa!
We're looking at a bunch of like foreground miniature work, some miniature buildings, some cars. That looks like some real dust, some real smoke there.
Wait a second, what's going on with those cars?
Yeah, that's what I was
Hold
looking
on,
at.
wait a second. There's a big car and then the little tiny Prius.
Wait! Wait, what the heck? Is that supposed to signify like distance, like the one on the left is closer?
Maybe they're doing forced perspective with the cars there.
I think they're trying to do forced perspective, and I don't really think it's working.
It's like implied perspective.
Implied perspective, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably because like the set they're using is only like this wide and they have to put all those cars there. So it's like, how do we make it look like the cars in the foreground are a lot closer? Let's make them bigger. I mean, it does kind of work. I'm mostly just looking at the fog.
Yeah, that's really cool. Oh, that's fun.
Whoa.
How fun.
Right?
Wait, dude, those people added in was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole set is miniature there.
Uh-huh.
So it's like green screen people on a miniature little Barbie doll house. They actually match pretty well into the shot.
Yeah, seriously.
It's mostly just like an up and down camera move, so the parallax you're getting is vertical, and that's harder to sort of make look bad.
With a person flailing and like moving around, you kind of lose sense of perspective anyway.
Yeah.
So you can get away with a lot.
Absolutely. I like how they added the reflection of Ultraman on like the skylights.
It's just his reflection, I think.
Oh wait, I forget that this is a miniature.
Yes, this is not. There's
Duh.
Oh yeah, he's out there. I forgot that too.
No, it's literally just, everything's real except the people, the cracks in the screen.
Yeah, that's why we're getting his reflection on the cars as well.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Oh, hey, look at that.
That was sick.
That's pretty fun.
He's definitely hitting some sort of like foam block building that's just basically a House of Cards type situation, so it easily breaks apart and falls down.
Oh, they're pre-scoring the building for the, there it is.
Oh, look at that. Taking the hit.
Some internal sparks in there, but it looks like they're also adding little cups of flour and dust sitting on a little charge so that when it blows up, it disperses it.
It looks sweet. It's fun.
It really does.
Shanked him!
Whoa!
Whoa,
Uh-oh.
oh, hell yeah.
There's a lot happening. There's a lot happening right now.
There's nothing sicker than slicing something and then a beat happens and then it either explodes or gets cut in half.
Yeah.
You know? like the delayed slice.
I like how they do a cut to a black frame. Because it's a whole super bright shot, but then for just a single frame, they cut to like a black inverted image of it.
The last time I did that effect was on the first anime Rock, Paper, Scissors when they did the final hit. You do that flash inverted frame to just make it feel like there's this dramatic exposure shift happening.
Another element they're borrowing from anime is this really intense, distorted camera angle.
Oh, whoa, comping 2 shots together. Interesting. And they even got more wide angle close.
Super wide angle sword to make it seem even cooler, and also so it can like disappear.
That's awesome. That's a great idea.
Peace.
Go!
Wait a second, I forgot my keys. All right,
What's interesting though is like there's a lot of stuff that looks really, really good. And then like simple things like adding a Bezier handle to an animation. Like just very, very simple things are like sometimes skipped.
Yeah, and I think that kind of stuff would make it feel a lot better. Like the show is already like so expressive with like the visual effects and all the motion and stuff like that. And there's like a lot of impact, but I feel like you're right, it's just that the curvature of your keyframes and stuff would just make it that much more satisfying.
Speed graphs.
Often when we see stuff like this, it's hard to kind of like let go of some of the VFX elitism and just kind of enjoy things.
Hey guys, I don't know what to look at next. Leave a comment down below and I will pick one at random and we will look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to take a look at this French movie called Bastion 36. There's a couple interesting CG cars and I want to get your guys' opinions on it.
Wait, there's CG cars?
Yeah.
Hold on, is that a spoiler? Huh, I get it.
You get it?
No, I get it, yeah.
What do you get?
I get it too.
You get
Well,
it
I
too?
get what he gets, but he'll start.
Neither one of you want to talk?
No, I don't get it.
Oh, I don't want to.
I don't get it.
I just feel bad, like, having to tell people what's going on here. I just felt bad having to say that none of the rain was real.
Whoa.
What we're watching is a scene entirely shot without rain.
Yes, it's done really well. But
It is done really well.
But it's also just torture.
A couple shots they spritz the actor with water and that's about it.
But what about the roads and stuff?
All the roads
bone
are
dry?
Bone dry.
Wow, that's a huge undertaking.
Like tracking the car so that you can get the curvature of the raindrops going around the surface of the vehicle.
Oh, dude.
Simulating the car tires going through the water.
Oh, God. I just feel bad.
Sam, don't feel bad. Feel good that we're exposing this work so that the people who grinded to a nub can be celebrated.
But like, look at, one of the coolest things I think they nailed is how the atmosphericness as it goes into the distance. The compositor's job to not only match the rain into the shot, but add in those atmospherics, bring up the dark black values of the shot itself to make it look like it's faded out like it really does in a rainstorm.
The way the rain is caught in the headlights too. Like the way it's like slightly illuminated in a radius around the headlights.
Yeah. And they added the reflection of the car in the water, the blue car there.
See, that's the thing. Yeah, all the reflections. That was what I first thought about.
Like, I'm okay for taking like rain wide 03 and dropping that over your footage. And then like, I'm even cool with like taking, you know, rain on windshield 02 and doing that. But the moment we're talking about like, oh, sir, also I would like you to regenerate the scene for reflections on the ground.
Yeah.
Because the ground is now reflective. You have to have it, otherwise it looks weird.
That's where I'm just
Dude, you have to have it, and it needs to show, at least attempt to show, a different perspective of the car, because it's a reflection of the underneath. So it's not like you can just flip the footage over and go, all right, that's it. Like, you have to curate every single reflection.
Dude, look at that right there. Look at how realistic the rain looks in this shot right here.
That looks very good.
That heavy rain.
The VFX industry needs this though. We need these kind of jobs. This is like a real honest VFX guy job.
See, work like this, it keeps spirits low, but it keeps families fed.
So we have the VFX Hall of Fame, obviously, which, you know, we constantly give out the awards, but I feel like there's like...
Hall of Pain, dude, Hall of Pain.
Hall of Pain.
There's the Hall of Fame and the Hall of Pain.
I feel like right now, the guy who rotoscoped the individual strands of hair is, you know, he's the king of the realm.
Yeah.
He's the king of pain. But this is like a close tie.
Well done, CGEV VFX. Well done.
That was a fun episode.
That was fun.
Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next week. All right, bye everyone.
Bye-bye.